Hey everybody, Jordan Orell here. I'm making my daily video about circumcision, and today I wanted to talk about something that's really important. It's not directly related to intactivism, but it's something that actually I think a lot of activists would really benefit from. And if actually a lot of intactivists today took this advice, I think that within a few years we'd see things changing really fast. Because what I want to talk about is, rather than focusing on a short-term goal of trying to change something or achieve something, what I think is actually a lot more important ultimately is to focus on yourself and developing yourself and investing in the long term of who are you and how are you developing yourself for your ultimate goals in life and for your ultimate big picture of what you want to achieve. Not just looking at in the next day, I want to a lot of people that don't even do that and don't even think how to be effective in general. But even people who say okay, I want to do this protest effectively, or I want to, think how can I in the next week or month or year make something that's good and will really help the movement. Instead, I would encourage you to, or in addition at least, I would encourage you to really take a step back and look at how can I develop not just sort of a venture or a project, but how can I actually develop myself in a way that I will be even more effective. So an example of this would be I meditate every day. And when I meditate, it's hard to actually even see the results of that. I know I feel better, I feel more clear, but the real results come after months of doing it, or even years of doing it. And for example, the first time I ever meditated, I went from being at the lowest point in my life, after some really, really severe suicidal depression. And after I knew I had to get out of it, and I started meditating 3 hours a day, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, up to 12 hours a day. Over a 3-month period, I averaged probably 6 hours a day of meditation. And in that time, I went from being the worst period of my life to the best period of my life up to that point. Made friends for the first time in a long time, and had my first girlfriend, and joined a school group that I'd always wanted to join. That was it was amazing. It was a carolers group, and I loved it so much. It was a wonderful time in my life, and that all came because I invested in myself over summer. I didn't do anything except meditate. That's all I did, and would just sit there by the lake and watch my thoughts come up, watch the leaves and the waves, and listen to the waves, and sit there and do nothing, basically, and just feel whatever came up. And from doing that, I had the best period in my life, because I made that investment in myself, and I could see on a day-to-day basis there were some changes that were kind of slowly happening. But ultimately, in the long run, where the real change came in was long after I'd actually, and I'm still experiencing the changes in my life that came from that period, and they're still compounding, and I'm learning more from continuing to meditate, and I'll keep on doing it, because I know when I do it, my life gets so much better. And there's lots of things like that. There's eating healthy, there's exercising every day, um, there's making these daily videos, and another thing I do is I will just talk into the camera for an hour every day to develop my speaking skills. Just say whatever, like a journal kind of diary, weird thing. It's interesting. And I also, I got this new job in the past few months of driving rideshare, Uber and Lyft, and I did that because I knew that having that job would force me to talk to strangers all day, every day, which I hate, and I couldn't stand it. And now it's become easy already, and just keeps on becoming easier and more fun. And that's a huge investment in myself because I want to do a good job with this podcast for Foragin that I'm doing. I think it could be a huge thing for Intactivism to have a podcast. I mean, Eliangar Sargon, who made the film Cut, which was presented sort of the Jewish perspectives on circumcision. It's the only podcast that currently exists on the issue, and he filmed Q&A sessions after his film was shown, and a few conversations with a lot of the top intactivists. I think it was in 2009, 2011. Can't remember. Anyways, it's a great podcast, but that's literally the only thing that we have on this issue. So I think that will be awesome. And all these things, Intactivism itself is something that I'm actually doing largely because it's the hardest thing for me to do. It's so painful. It's been a struggle. And, it almost felt like I had no choice at times but I did, because for years I didn't even face it, and I just tried to push it down, and it was so awful. But once I finally focused on psychological healing through books like Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps the Score and Peter Levine's Waking the Tiger, and other stuff from my Learning from Trauma class, I really had an incredible transformation in my life. And it was hard to make that investment of facing all the pain and working through it. It was awful, but ultimately it's not nearly remotely as awful as living with that. And also it's a huge investment in doing that because now I'm stronger than I ever would have been if I hadn't had to face experiencing myself as a victim of male genital mutilation, and really facing that and really healing that. And so I think I'd just like to leave you with, ask yourself, what ways am I not being my best, especially in the long run? What ways am I not investing in myself? What do I need to do to be my best self, to be the most effective in the goals that are really important to me? So for example, I'm trying to work on my sleep schedule, get better sleep, because I know that'll makes me so much a better person. I'm trying to make sure I meditate every day. I'm trying to make these videos consistently every day, and another thing is be much more financially secure. Right now I'm helping Eric Klopper put on his play in Harvard, and losing a good bit of money on that. But it's, sometimes we also need to make gambles in life and try something, we can't be 100% sure if it will work, but I think it's really important to try when we believe that there's at least a shot. And I really do believe this play is going to be something else. So we'll see what happens. And then, I'm not religious about this, in the short term, it's sure you can make sacrifices here and there, but ultimately in the long term, what are you doing? what's your goal? And really ask yourself that question, really listen to yourself, and find out what do I really want in life? What do I really want to achieve and do? And that goal may change as time goes on, but ultimately, what's your deepest calling, and what can you do? What step can you take right now to move towards that? Maybe it's buying a book about the subject. You can Google best books on any subject, and it's so easy. We have the resources at our fingertips to, or you can listen to a podcast or a YouTube video, and literally anything that you want to achieve, you can find out how to do it. You can find out how to be more effective in business or marketing, in social entrepreneurship, which is how to create social change. It's something I'm really studying right now to be more effective. I'm listening to a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk videos because I don't understand social media and marketing in that way. And I just listen to his videos every day. They're really inspirational and help me understand how to better be effective in sharing my message. And yeah, it's so easy to access, whatever area of your life you need to improve. You can just type it into Google and ask, what's the best thing, and then look through a few results, and you're on your way. And it takes dedication of doing it every day and really taking the time every day to move towards your goal. But in the long run, once you start doing it, you will never stop, because there's no end to how much you can develop yourself and to how good life can ultimately get. Compared to where I was a year or two ago, I don't think I really believed it was possible to be this happy with where I was at that time, and to be doing the things I am now. But I did everything I could, and that's really my advice, is to really give it your all, and listen to yourself, listen to what you need, because I think we all know, and we just need to take that step to move towards that. So I know this wasn't directly related to intactivism or circumcision, but I think, again, if people really took this advice to heart and did everything they could to invest in themselves, being their best selves, that it would really accelerate the process of being more effective as human beings. So hope this helped anyone. Again, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them below. I'd love to talk to you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.